Hey everybody, welcome back to my modern homestead. Today I have another fun recipe. We don't have to be such a rebel with this one. Today we are doing orange chicken. I love some Asian food. So we're going to make this really easy, and if I have time I'm actually going to do, well, you won't know whether I do it or not in this video, but I'm also going to be doing Asian coleslaw. That one's a little bit of a rebel recipe, but I'm going to try it. Anyway, let's get started with today. Let me tell you what you need. I'm going to give you the ingredients tripled, okay? We're going to start with 6 pounds of chicken. I don't have that out yet. Then we need 3/4 of a teaspoon of ground ginger or 3 tablespoons of fresh ginger. Then we need 3 teaspoons of powdered garlic, 1.5 teaspoons of crushed red pepper. I don't want mine hot. I don't mind a little bit of heat. I only used 1 teaspoon. 4.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 4.5 tablespoons of water, 15 tablespoons of 15 tablespoons of white sugar, 15 tablespoons of white vinegar, which I didn't know what it equaled, and I found out it equals 200 milliliters of white vinegar, and then 3 cups of orange juice, and it also calls for the zest of 3 oranges. I don't have oranges, so we're just going to leave that out for today, but if I do this again I need to make sure I have them because zest just gives it that little makes it extra yummy. So anyway, let's get these into the pot, and I'll get these on the stove so we can cut up our chicken. We've got our mixture on the stove. I'm just going to let this warm up. I will bring it just right to a boil and turn it down so that it's no longer boiling and just hot. But I'm actually going to go ahead and get my chicken started first. I need to get it cut into cubes. I'm so crazy, you guys. I was cleaning up all my things and realized I left out the water.
There it is.
There we go. Okay, just to prove that I'm crazy, that was not water, no was it? That was white vinegar. Good grief. Okay, now we have our pan heating on the stove. I'm just putting in a little olive oil. And back here I also have our orange juice mixture. I'm just turning it on between low and medium. And here I have my canner with the water already heating up. And so what we're going to do is just brown the chicken a little. We're not trying to cook it. We just want it brown. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's another cloudy day here. I'm just going to do this in batches. I don't want to put too much in the pan at once. This may be hard to see on the camera in this lighting and at this angle, but some of the pieces are just starting to turn brown on the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out and add more. And what we're taking out now, we'll go ahead and add to the jars. We'll jar as we go. Okay, let's get the first jar done. Don't want to overfill it. We'll go to about 1 inch headspace. And that's about all you want in there. Maybe one little piece where there's some space right there. Ta-da! Perfect. We'll keep going. Okay guys, now we've just taken the chicken, the last of the chicken off, and you see how this stuff is stuck here? Let me give you a little secret if you don't already know. While your pan's still hot, throw in some water, scrape the bottom, get all that off of there, and it's much easier to clean. I do this with my stainless steel and my cast iron, but be more careful with the cast iron. You don't want to scrape your seasoning off. There we go. Yucky stuff is gone. Much easier to wash. All we do at this point is just get the broth over the chicken in the jars. Just want to distribute it evenly up to 1 inch headspace. Don't go over the 1 inch headspace. Now I'm just going to go back and even up some of these jars that I didn't go quite high enough on. I wanted to make sure I had enough for each of the jars. Alright guys, the next thing we want to do is debubble our jars. to do that, we're just going to run a spoon down or something with a flat edge. Some of my jars are a little bit full, but we just have to go with it. Just try to keep it at 1 inch. Now, we're going to take a napkin, dip it in some white vinegar, and run it around the rims of the jars so that you will get a nice seal. You don't want any of this chicken grease on the edge. I'm having to be careful. I've washed my hands, but that one's gotten greasy again. And sit them in there gently. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get the lid on. Line up the arrow with the notch if you've never seen my canning videos before. And this is just for the All-American. You may have a different canner. If so, check your instructions. And I already had water in here heating up. I'm not tightening these all the way down. I need to make sure that my space around the lid and the pot is even as I can get it all the way around before I actually tighten them down. All right, whew. It's a workout for this week, Mama. Okay, now all we're going to do is just let it heat up. I'm turning it up just a little bit. I don't like to do things fast with my canner. I think things can nicer if you go slower and let things come up slowly. So I've got it between low and medium, and I will just let this come up. And once the steam starts coming out of the stem, we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. Now this is the part where I like to go ahead and get everything cleaned up. I can usually get it done before the vent ever starts, before steam ever starts coming out of the vent. So my sweet girl, she's already washed up that. I still have that pot and those left. And hi, Lisa.
Hi.
I'm sorry about that mess back there. That would be the guy's mess back there on that table. But anyway, I have my bowls and vinegar and pot holder and just that. Those aren't even dirty. So we'll be right back. There we go, guys. It's all cleaned up. Now that is sitting there because it's still wet. And, well, that's self-explanatory. And then there's Alyssa again. But everything we messed up, we've cleaned up plus some. And, oh, I didn't beat it this time. There's already steam coming out. It's all right. I'll take it. Come on, 10. There we go. And start. All right. We have vented for 10 minutes, and now I'm going to put on the weighted regulator. I'm not quite sure what you call it. Make sure it's on the 10 for where I live. You check and make sure what you can be on where you live. That's just what I use for my altitude. And then when this comes up to 11 pounds, pressure on the gauge, this will start doing its thing, and we'll be ready to set our timer for 90 minutes where I live. Again, always check, do your research, and make sure you know what to can your meat at your altitude. Let's set the timer now for 90 minutes. Oh, 90 minutes. Just want to show you the temperature is very low. It doesn't have to be on high. There we go. Now we're just going to turn off the heat, and we're going to let it sit here. And we're going to let it sit until this needle comes down to here. And when we remove that, we don't hear any air coming out. Sorry, that was noisy. Anyway, we'll be back. While we were waiting on the canner to cool down, I went ahead and mixed up my cornbread. We're having that with, voila, our vegetable soup tonight. This has been cooking just about as long as the canner has been going. I got it going at about the same time and stuck the vegetables in there. There's a little bit of smoked pork chop in there. So, simple, easy, and it's all cleaned up. That's the good part. Yes. This is my little grease thing I bought. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it. You put the grease in there to let it strain, and it goes down to the bottom. That way you can reuse your grease. I got it specifically for bacon grease because I've started using that in my cornbread. So I've just got to figure out a home for it. Okay, as you can see, the needle is resting on that metal post at 0, right there, but I hear an awful lot of action in the canner. So I know that the regulator is not ready to come off. I am just going to leave it probably right through supper. So I'll be back when we're ready to take that off. Okay, got the regulator off. Right there. So all we're doing is just unlocking it, and we'll slowly let the heat out of the canner before we actually take the jars out. Alright, I will have to put down the phone while I lift the lid. Remember, lift away from you so that the steam does not burn you. This is so hard to get off. Then we have this crack here. We'll just let some of the heat escape for a few minutes, and then we'll take the lid all the way off. Okay, let's get this lid off. Maybe. Alright, there we go, guys. There are our 6 pints of orange chicken. I can't say that one was quick. It wasn't hard. It was just, it had a lot of steps, but it wasn't hard. That's the important part. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I love it when you come and spend a few minutes with me. So until we meet again, may you be blessed.
Don't forget to watch for the canned Asian coleslaw video that will be coming up next.